Our goal is to break the power of the mob in America and nothing short of it. We mean to end their profits, imprison their members, and cripple their organization. Imprison their members and cripple their organization. Cripple their organization. Imprison their members. Break the power of the mob. Our goal is to break the power of the mob in America and nothing short of it. We mean to end their profits, imprison their members, and cripple their organization. Imprison their members and cripple their organization. Cripple their organization. Imprison their members.
Let's get it going. Hello, hello, hello. What's up, world? It's your boy. I am back, Alonzo Hall, aka the Blue Blazer. Today I have on my tandem blue blazer with the blue elbow patches. So, as an extraordinary gentleman myself, these are some of the things that we're going to continue to do in honor of other positive Black men who we've recently found out we've lost in many spaces. So today, what I want to talk about is it being January 20th and the inauguration of our incumbent, or our president now, Mr. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So they are now in office. I didn't watch it, but it is a topic that's germane to life, and it's also germane to things that are coming down in the future. So now we know that he's going to be here for the next 4 years. So that's a lot of us that are now encroaching on our 30s and our 40s, because we're 25 and 35 and things of that nature. What's up to everyone who's just entering in? If this is your first time, make sure you smash that like button, comment, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so that when I do go live and drop new information, you do get informed. I like to think that this is a space where I can drop different information from my perspective, being a Black man in America, how things work, and being a Black man who works in real estate and financial services. So a lot of the things that I do and I drop will be about that, and maybe tips and tricks that you can use yourself to help navigate this thing we call the financial wealth gap. So I'm going to keep fighting that good fight. So today what we're talking about is something that is really going to be affected, because one of those initiatives in the first 100 days via Joe Biden has something to do with a heavier tax on your retirement or your 401k. So if you'll go to my website with my firm, CG Wealth.Financial, I'm actually going to read an article from my company about retirement and how you can ease your retirement worries, because this is things that we have to think about. Presidents are only in office for not even an entire decade. So with that, we are hopefully going to be here for much longer. There's a rapper who said it in a Mace song, 24 Hours to Live. Sheik Luch said, you figure you're going to be older way longer than you're going to be younger. Now, a lot of us who are encroaching on our 40s may not have understood that line at that time. However, if we're encroaching on our 40s, or some of us, like family members of mine who are 45 and 46, encroaching on their 50s, we're looking at it like, wow, things like retirement are important. So compared to previous generations, you can expect to live longer and a healthier life, as much as 30 years longer. So this means that your retirement income needs to last longer too. So this is one of the things that is very important when you're speaking with a licensed life insurance agent. One of the things I'll say to people, they'll say, well, hey, I'll say, hey, do you have life insurance? Again, because I'm pouring that foundation for your financial future. And they'll say yes. And I'll say, great. So you've covered dying too soon, but what about living too long? So that's where you can work with a life insurance agent or a financial consultant like myself to actually work on your retirement. So on average, retirees in the United States expect their savings to last only 14 years. Making sure your retirement income lasts as long as you do may go a long way to ease your retirement worries. So think about that. That's 14 years. So I hear brothers all the time say, yeah, listen, man, I want to retire when I'm 50. Okay. 14 years means that from 50 to 64, your money ends up being wiped out. And this is on average United States. This isn't taking into account things like race disparities. There's a content creator by the name of Green Gorilla who put out equity ownership by race over Q4 or quarter four of the last 30 years. He showed it in 5-year increments from 1990 to 2020. And the ownership of equities and mutual funds by Black Americans went from 0% to 1% over that 30 years. From Hispanics, it went from 0% to 3% over that last 30 years. Now, it decreased back down to 1% recently. I'm not sure as to why. I didn't check into that yet, but that's a concern as well. And then from others, it went from 0% to 7% across that same 30 years. So that 14 years is very important because people are living a lot longer. So if that's only 14 years, you're that person that's now at Walmart at 65, checking my receipts as I go out because you have to go back to work. Or you can work with a retirement planner and get those things taken care of. So a big part of your retirement planning should include knowing your potential sources of income and figuring out how they fit in your overall income strategy. If you're like most people, your income will stem from these sources, including the following proportions. Bear with me 1 second. I have a phone call coming in. This is Alonzo speaking. How can I help you? Sorry about that. That was unexpected. Wow. Things happen freakily. That's life. Where was I? So, yeah, one of the big things is actually knowing the source of your income. So it actually happened. Uh, I know a few different situations where I've sat with clients, and one of their big things is they want, right now money, and they want to flip it and things of that nature. Um, but what I'm going to do is today I'm going to show you working on a retirement plan and why it's so easy to do it younger and cheaper, and versus something like a 401k. After I finish reading to you this article. So again, we're looking now at some of the following sources where this income will come from. So you have guaranteed income sources such as pensions, Social Security, and annuities. And those are one way to help provide assurance that you can cover your essential expenses, things like housing, healthcare, and food for the rest of your life. So pensions, right? In the past, pensions actually gotten rid of 401ks. So you actually hear a lot of advisors who say 401ks suck because they are something called period certain. So they pay you out for a specific period of time. Let's say you got $100,000 and you want, I don't know, $20,000 a year. Well, what's that? That's 5 years worth of money, right? And after that, your money's gone. Whereas with a pension, if you paid in $100,000 and you got $20,000 a year, after you wiped out the $100,000 you paid into it, they still had to pay you $20,000 a year to the day you died. So insurance companies actually got rid of pensions in favor of the 401k, right? So again, in the past, many employers provided monthly pensions for their retired workers, but today, fewer and fewer workers are covered by traditional employer-provided pensions that provide a lifetime benefit. If you're lucky enough to have a pension, this is a source of guaranteed income. So another place for your income might be Social Security. So the majority of retirees receive the largest portion of their guaranteed income from Social Security. Now, there are some strategies to use to increase your benefits. So it is important to think through just how and when you claim those Social Security benefits. I often give the story of a client of mine in Brooklyn in 2013. She was 44, bought a house for $540K, paid $1,800 a month into her life insurance policy, and worked for the MTA, which is the Metropolitan Authority, Transit Authority, or whatever state and city you live in. She worked for the city bus company, which everybody knows working for the city bus company is a good job because, they provide good benefits. She still privately got this life insurance policy that pays $1,800, that she paid $1,800 a month into. There's a reason for that. With that, saved her $500,000 because we did an amortization schedule, which actually literally shows you a breakdown of your mortgage from the first payment to the last payment and how much you are paying. And most people are paying principal on the final 10 years, and you're paying interest for the first 20 years of your mortgage. So I showed her how in 20 years she's going to pay off her house using this life insurance policy. She would be 64 at the time, turning 65. She would then stop paying her mortgage payment because she paid off the house early, and stop paying the life insurance policy, and get a pension, a retirement of $65,000 a year for 12 years, and not having to touch her retirement account from the MTA until she's 71 and a half, which is the age of RMD, or required minimum distribution. If you don't take your retirement account by 71 and a half, you get taxed at 50%. So the majority of retirees receive the largest portion of their guaranteed income from Social Security. There are some strategies to use to increase your benefits, again, of life insurance. So it's important to think it through, just how and when you claim those benefits. So if you're married, it's important to keep in mind that when one spouse passes away, the resulting Social Security and or pension benefits may be drastically reduced, and alone are often inadequate for the surviving spouse. This is especially important for women to consider, as women on average outlive men. So annuities. Unless you have sufficient guaranteed pension and Social Security benefits to cover all of your basic expenses, you most likely need to supplement your retirement income with savings. Now, investment accounts, just like CDs and mutual funds, they generally don't provide you a lifetime income. An annuity can turn assets into a steady, guaranteed income stream. So this means no matter how long you or your spouse live, you can always depend on this source of income. So the remainder of your assets can be directed into other investments with more growth potential for that right now money to help you protect against inflation and market volatility. So a key step in planning for your retirement is to put strategies in place that help you to maximize that guaranteed income, right? So what do I mean when I say that? Well, a lot of people don't have a couple of $100,000 really, or here the average pouring into an annuity is 50K. So most people don't have just 50K sitting around, and the initial pour into most annuities is a minimum of 5,000. Now, I do have an affiliation with a few different companies that you can start an annuity with as little as $1,200. And generally, I do that around this time of the year with a lot of my tax clients because you're getting a refund, so you're getting a lump sum of money for your retirement. So give me 1 second here. What I want to do is I'm going to show you now how you can actually use that life insurance policy as a retirement account. And it's a different way that, look, I don't have $416.66 a month, which would be $5,000 a year, which is the maximum anyone under 50 can put into their retirement account. Or it might be $5,500 now this year. But remember, there's going to be taxes on that motherfucking 401k, thanks to your new president, Joe Biden. Okay, bear with me 1 second. I just ordered me a sandwich. So. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create what's called an illustration. And an illustration is what the average person knows as a quote for life insurance. Now, I often hear this way too much. Well, how much is life insurance? And I generally equate that to buying a Mercedes-Benz, because there's differences. And then people will say, well, the average policy, no matter what type of policy it is, to be honest, there's always differences. Whether you're buying car insurance, whether you're buying business liability insurance, whether you're buying homeowners or renters insurance, all of these things which I sell. Whether you're buying a retirement product like an annuity, because there's different type of annuities. And then whether you're buying a life insurance policy or an investment, there's different types of investment products as well, even when you're buying stocks or ETFs. Gotta drink that water. Let's do this here. I'm going to share my screen. I just share the entire damn screen. I hate flipping back and forth, so bear with me. We're building this as we fly. Let's create a new product illustration. Okay, we're going to create a new client. Let's do the blue blazer. And I can't spell today. Let's do the blue blazer the first. And we will have him be 25. And this is what we want to show you. Okay, he's going to be in Connecticut. 123 Main Street. I really can't spell today. Anytime. All righty. Now, okay, so this guy was born in 1996. Wow. Greetings, sir. No need to stick around. You can always play this back. This isn't going to be too long. It's actually longer than I intended on going. So initially, what I'm going to show you is how to use your life insurance policy to retire. So first, if you look here, you see a lot of different options. And this is just, again, in life insurance. So you can have there's a multitude of policies here, but in life insurance, you have whole life, 10-pay whole life, index universal, growth whole life, variable universal life, which is a policy that means that your premiums and your death benefit are all based on the stock market. So being variable, you're gambling the stock market with your life insurance policy. You also have an indexed universal, which is very similar to a variable, but it's a fixed product where the variable is actually variable. So just like you feel, your dick gets hard when it's going into Tesla, well, your dick should get hard for this too, because it's already attached to the S&P 500 for over 120 years, where Tesla's just going on to it. I'm not diminishing Tesla, but I'm telling you to open your mind and understand that these things have been, life insurance companies have been paying dividends consistently year in and year out for over 120 years, since the 1700s. So this is through all the depressions. So all the new stocks and things are a couple of 100 years old, maybe 100 years old, while, the insurance companies are a couple of 100 years old, is what I'm going on to say. So again, you have an index universal that's fixed, that's tied to the stock market. So this is what we're going to look at, is an indexed universal, okay? Because that's tied to the stock market. And so you get a lot of, or I shouldn't say it's tied to, I should say it mirrors the stock market. What am I doing here? This is, geez. All right. Here we go. So again, it mirrors the stock market. Now, there's ways that you can do this. So one of the ways that we're going to look at this now is, let me increase this screen a little bit. I like to make sure, hold on. Can you guys see this well? I can't tell. So let's just increase the screen 1 iota. All right, cool. So looking here, we have Mr. Blue Blazer, who is 25 years old, born in 1996. So we are going to do actually, no, we're not going to do a value plus. I need to do a growth index. So again, like a Mercedes-Benz, you can have an E-Class, but then you can also have an E-Class wagon, right? Or you can have a C-Class, right? Or you can have a G-Class, like I want a GLA 250, right? I don't want the big GLKs, and I'm subtle. I'm not that flashy. I like the GLA 250. I think it's nice. It's small. It's a family car. I don't have a huge family yet. When my family grows, we'll get a larger car, right? However, so we're looking at a growth index universal. So this means that this type of policy is rated for your growth. So you're intending on your money growing in this type of policy. So there's different options here. So we're going to start with a person who's a non-tobacco user. So you can see here, there's different rates. So let's do this. Let's start with preferred plus non-tobacco, because a lot of times when you go shopping for price, advisors such as who are savvy will go and give you the best price, but that is generally not your scenario. So when you're looking at these are what you call health class, right? So preferred plus means that you're Superman. You've never gone to the doctor for anything. Your health is everything. You're immune to everything. You have the cure for COVID and zombieism in your blood, and nothing will kill you. And you're Superman, and you never had a issue in your life. Most people won't get this, not even athletes. So then you have preferred non-tobacco, which is athletes and things will get this rate. Select non-tobacco. Again, a healthier person will get this rate. Now, what does this mean? Well, the healthier you are, the less of a risk you are of dying with what they have called the rate of mortality. So if you're a fucking fat slob and you're 900 pounds, even though you may be non-tobacco, you're probably not going to get preferred plus non-tobacco. Does that make sense? No. Now, non-tobacco is someone who is just your normal, average, everyday guy. Preferred tobacco would be somebody who smokes cigarettes, but maybe other than that, they're a vegan and they're super healthy. Or someone who smokes tobacco. Now, being a tobacco user, no matter how old you are, will triple the price. So someone 25 will be paying generally like they're in their 70s just because they smoke tobacco, or maybe in their 60s just because they smoke tobacco. So you want to be cognizant of that. So generally, I'm always going to go for standard, which is just non-tobacco. Now, they'll also have what's called special class, where you can be what's called rated. So what they will do is table rate you. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, right? So for example, someone such as myself, who I'm 5'8" and 135 pounds. So, you figure, well, he's a pretty healthy, normal guy. Maybe he's a little underweight, but he's okay. But I have other health conditions. So I would be rated because due to my other health conditions, I am not I'm more at risk to die. And this is just natural causes. This doesn't have other extenuating circumstances that are looked at, like the area you live in. Okay, so now when we look at face amount, someone will ask you, well, now there's different options. Now, remember, I told you guys something about MEC, M-E-C, or Modified Endowment Contract. Now, I had some accountants try to come at me when I mentioned Donald Trump paying only $750. Oh, how do you know he had a MEC? Because I do this for a living, and a lot of my clients have MECs, Modified Endowment Contracts. So these are life insurance policies that generally bunches of money are poured into, and it's a tax loophole. Now, generally, when we're looking for face amount, this is what we're going to quote unquote solve for. When we say solve for, that means what we're looking for in terms of how we are going to, there's different ways you can look at concepts. So this is why when I sit with my clients, I ask, what do you want your life insurance to do for you? Because most people think it's just, oh, I die and I can borrow against it. Well, yes, you can borrow against it, and we'll talk about that in the future. But again, you can use it to retire with. So we're going to show you a simple $100,000 face amount, right? So now you have here what's called option. Well, what's option? Well, option is your death benefit. So generally companies will have what's called option A, which is a level death benefit, right? So a level death benefit means that no matter how much money you put in, the death benefit's $100,000. And all the insurance company is responsible for is $100,000, right? That's a level death benefit. Now you have option B, which is an increasing death benefit. So what's an increasing death benefit? Well, that leaves the insurance company at risk for that whole $100,000. See, the manipulation is you build cash value in your policy. So while you're building this cash value, you are getting you're diminishing the risk that the insurance company takes. So let's do a hypothetical scenario. You have a regular whole life policy that's a level death benefit. You're paying your money. And 20 years goes by and you build up $50,000 worth of cash value, get hit by a bus. The insurance company has $50,000 that they have to come up with and $50,000 of cash value that you've built up over time. They take that, put it in a check, give it to your family gets $100,000. Scenario B, you get a life insurance policy with an increasing death benefit. And the same scenario, you pay into it, 20 years goes by, you get hit by a bus. The insurance company has to come up with that $100,000 that they agreed to in the original contract, and then they have to give you your family that $50,000 that you built up. So they take it, $150,000 goes into your family. Now, if it was legal, I would call life insurance policies wealth contracts, but that's why they have the guys who get licenses to charge you additional fees and give you products called investments and ETFs and mutual funds and all this other fancy sounding stuff, and trust funds, which is funded with a life insurance policy, and all this other fancy stuff. I could do it too, buy sell agreements and all this other fancy name stuff, when all it is a simple life policy. So now let's look here. You have amount. So amount is the premium. Okay. Also, so we have the general premium test, or we're going to go for the CVAT, which is the cash value accumulation test. Okay. And we're going to say that generally you're going to put in $100 a month, because I generally recommend putting at least $100 a month into a policy. Now, also, I want you to notice something, because it says currently here, I'm printing this to age 121. Now, why is that important? Remember, we're talking about your retirement. So again, here, you're looking at the assumed interest rate of currently 6.4%. So that's your interest rate. So here's something that everybody likes to talk about, look at, but when I show you the numbers, you have no fucking clue what you're looking at, even though you tell me you do. Let's take a look at our current illustration rate, and this is your asset allocation. So this is what's being allocated into the S&P 500. So currently at the capped 1 year, they're doing 100%, or that $100 that you're putting in monthly, into the 6.4% compound interest rate that they're mirroring the S&P 500 at today. And what's today? Today is Wednesday, ironically enough, Inauguration Day. And as you know, the prime rate changes every Wednesday. So, or as you may or may not know, I should say, the prime rate changes every Wednesday. So again, we're going to keep fighting that good fight. What's going on, brother? Be over in a minute. Appreciate that. And that's all good. So again, we're going to look at this growth report. And I'm about to hop off real quick. So this is for Blue Blazer first, Anytown Main Street. So now I want to look at a couple of things, because this is death benefit option B, but there's other cool things that are attached to your life insurance policy. So let's look at it. We got something called living benefits. It's almost very So what is living benefits? Living benefits means that off of this $100,000 policy, you, after a certain period of time, have access to, if you get a critical illness, a quarter of that money. If you get a chronic illness, 50% of that money. And if you get a terminal illness, 75% of that money. So if you get into these conditions or these situations while you have that life insurance policy, you can actually get living benefits. And again, you do see here one of the companies that I represent. And the reason I use this is one of the top 25 companies, according to Forbes, that advisors across America appreciate. And this is one of the many companies that I use. So we're not going to go over living benefits right there. If you really want to learn about all that, it's going to be much more specific to you. Again, this is the period, and this is telling you, this is more of a prospectus. So again, this is a trade of the Russell Investments Group. And as you can see, it's the Standard & Poor's 500 index, comprised of 500 stocks representing major U.S. industrial sectors. And the S&P 500 and Standard & Poor's 500 are trademarks of Standard & Poor's and have been licensed for use by Emeritus Life Insurance Corp. This product is not sponsored, endorsed, sold, or promoted by S&P, or S&P doesn't make representations regarding the viability of the investment product. So all that means is that this is this company's investment idea, and that it's not, even though it's attached to the S&P 500, it's the S&P 500 isn't endorsing it. The S&P 500 is just the S&P 500. The Russell 2000, MSCI, so on and so forth. BNP Paribas, if you're a football fan, you've probably seen that bank when they go over to London. You can look at variable loan interest rates, et cetera, et cetera. So again, there's a lot that goes into this. It'll actually tell you about federal income tax considerations. So the Internal Revenue Code restricts the amount of money which may be paid into or withdrawn from life insurance policies, and requires the death benefit to be no less than specified a specified multiple of the account value as to qualify for insurance under the IRC or Internal Revenue Code, Section 7702. This illustration is based on our current understanding of the tax law. However, it is not intended to be tax or legal advice. We want you to consult your professional tax advisor for further information on that. The cash value accumulation test. So the best death benefit is increased if necessary to maintain the required amount of coverage to qualify as a life insurance policy under Section 7702 under the Internal Revenue Code. So why is that important? Because we're looking at something called 7-pay. Remember, I said MEC, modified endowment contracts. So in the current federal tax law, life insurance contracts, again, wealth contracts, that fail the 7-pay test are classified as modified endowment contracts, or MECs. MECs receive less favorable income tax treatment of pre-death policy distributions, such as withdrawals and loans, than non-MECs. A policy that fails the 7-pay test if, at any time during the first 7 years, the amount paid into the policy exceeds the sum of the 7-pay annual premiums, material change in policy policy benefits or other terms may require retesting as if it were a newly issued policy. So the policy as illustrated is not a modified endowment contract. And then there's the 10-year no lapse guarantee. But anyway, what we're going to look at here, again, like I said, it goes a lot deeper into other things. What we want to look at here is the death benefit, and we want to look at what everybody talks about, which is this beautiful thing here, this interest rate. So everybody screams about interest rates, and I heard somebody say something about a 10% interest rate. I was like, motherfucker, we in a 1%. Where are you getting 10%? Anywhere. The stock market averages 10% over 20 years, as quoted by Warren Buffett. So I don't want to hear any of these other financial gurus telling me this, that, and the third about this, that, and the third. Give me 1 second. I got another call. All right. Duty calls. So again, like I said, this is a 25-year-old putting $100 a month away, right? It's $1,200 a year, right? So if you're looking at your interest rates here, you got 4%. Here, you got 6%. What's really going to happen is 6%. What you see here is guaranteed, meaning COVID was real and everybody died at the same time. So this ain't really going to happen. What's really going to happen is the non-guaranteed, because everybody ain't guaranteed to die at the same time. But we can't guarantee it because things may be variable. So this is worst case scenario, guaranteed. God forbid everybody died at the same time. This is what absolutely would happen. This is what possibly can happen as long as you stick to your portion of the agreement. So over the course of 10 years, he's paid in $12,000. And over the course of 10 years, he's built up $9,200. So let's call it $9,000 of surrender value, that if he cancels the policy, he gets back $9,000. So for $100,000 worth of life insurance, he's paid $3,000. So this is why you got to stop looking at how much it costs you per month and actually looking at how much it builds for you. So I actually have a person to speak to, or a client who just kind of contacted me, I guess, due to this video. So I'm going to go ahead and do that consult at the moment. As always, enjoy life and, keep it, flawless. When people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. As we grow, or as I grow, I'm going to start building up the rest of my team, which is the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. We've been doing this since 2001. So now I'm going to make it an actual business. I'm going to bring it out there to the light. And you all gentlemen are definitely welcome. And this is for men across all spaces. With that, one love, peace. I'm out of here. I guess I'm out of here. Maybe, maybe not.
Our goal is to break the power of the mob in America and nothing short of it. We mean to end their profits, imprison their members, and cripple their organization. Imprison their members and cripple their organization.